Welcome back, gamers, to another episode of Experience Points Podcast. And don't forget, gamers, to
Level up.
I believe.
I thought we were on episode like 103. Wait, no, never mind. We've been on like 60 all this year.
I don't know what podcast you're doing with anybody else, but this is episode 66.
I just jumped 40 episodes.
It would be episode 67 if we didn't lose that one. But anyway. Alrighty then. Welcome back, gamers, to the Experience Points Podcast. And today I am joined by Blackout, aka Eric Jones, aka the glass cereal bowl man.
I didn't say anything about hello, everybody. I didn't say anything about a glass cereal bowl.
You
Well, I guess it is.
You said if it's
I guess-
plastic, you're doing it wrong. It's exactly what you said.
I did say that.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is episode 66, and today's date is Sunday, December 29th, 2024.
Last broadcast of the year, probably.
Yeah, definitely last broadcast of the year. I definitely want to, I say this all the time, I want to do more episodes. Anyway, today's episode, we are going to chit-chat about the Monster Hunter Wilds demo. And
Even though like 2 months ago we doing this.
It's supposed to happen directly after, but just like every other time that we go with months and months without recording, life happens. And it's always fun. Anyway. So, Jones, what were your thoughts going into the demo as you booted it up and you saw that gorgeous backsplash and the gorgeous graphics that were loading up compared to your limited experience with World and then a little bit more experience with Rise, which is really not that much more, but I know you enjoyed it.
I almost beat Rise, so
You almost beat Rise
Yeah.
when?
I almost beat it. I didn't beat it. I was at the last chapter, I think.
Well, it's news to me.
You were there. God, you don't remember? We actually played that game more than you realize.
Yeah, we played quite a bit. We went back and forth between World and Rise, and I get those.
Yeah, now Worlds I don't have much experience in. I did not play too much. I mean, I played it, but I did not really get far in the story.
Gotcha. So anyway, what was your initial impressions of Wilds after playing those two games?
Well, you mean before or after I booted up? Because you originally asked me how was I feeling as it was booting up. I thought the game looked very nice, but I was like, I won't lie, I was a little bit hesitant because the other two games, it's just like the weapons always felt so slow and clunky and hard to like kind of aim.
And admitted, you guys already had, you and Kevin, shout out to Alistair, you guys already had a bias against that game because you guys couldn't stand the huge weapons.
Incorrect. That was Kevin. That was not me. I did not care about the size of the weapons. I just cared that they didn't aim. When I swing at something that's like slightly to the left, and then if you miss that first hit, you're just gonna be going like to the freaking northwest for like 5 minutes before you can stop and re-aim, and by then the monster's behind you. Now take this fire blast to the back.
Is that the sound they made? Is that the sound they made?
No, that's the sound that I'm imagining it made because of how slow I was swinging.
It would actually be really awesome and really creepy if those things had voices. That would freak me out. Especially with something like Magdamalo, good lord. Well, I mean, and that's definitely understandable because when I first started playing Monster Hunter, I didn't like it either. But I had a former friend of mine actually train me in the game and how to play. It's just like with Final Fantasy XIV. There was so much about this game I didn't care for, but when you and Kevin and Kim taught me how to do certain things, it clicked and it made more sense, and it allowed me to enjoy the game without being frustrated. So, and the same thing with Monster Hunter World. I was never even thought about Monster Hunter, and this guy asked me to play, and he gave me like a freaking like 10-hour tutorial one weekend on this game, and I just after that I fell in love with the process. So it is understandable that you felt that way.
Very nice though, yeah. I just to throw it in there. The first time I even heard of Monster Hunter, don't judge me. First time I actually heard about Monster Hunter was literally when they released the Gold Legend of Zelda 3DS, but they also at that like exact same time were
hmm
releasing the special edition for Monster. I'm like, what the heck is this? It looks okay, but what the heck
Monster
is
Hunter
Monster
4,
Hunter?
Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I actually tried to go back and play that game because I heard it was a really great addition to the series. Ooh, no, 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 no. It's like trying to play a PlayStation 1 game on a on a handheld. It just is so slow.
Ugh.
There was like three blades of grass.
I was legit thinking, like, look, I love the 3DS and all, but I don't think that that is the kind of game that you want to play a game like Monster Hunter on because,
hmm
yeah.
Yep, but I think that wasn't the first one. Obviously, that was handheld, but that was supposed to be like the best version of it, and I couldn't do it. It was bad. I found that there was a demo on the on the
eShop.
DS eShop, and yeah, that demo just oof, no thank you. I mean, the weapons still look fantastic, and the monsters
Yeah.
actually look pretty good, but just everything else about the game is just no thank you. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be touchscreen. Nope.
It's like trying to play Super Mario Brothers 2 after playing Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, we'll just go along with that. And I'm talking about Super Mario Brothers 2 on NES, not the Lost Levels, just Super Mario Brothers 2 America, USA, that game. That's what it's
USA,
funny like.
USA, US. Aw. So my initial impressions of the game, I mean, I knew it was gonna be gorgeous. I knew it was gonna be faster and it was gonna be fun. And with my few hundred hours that I have in all those Monster Hunter games, it just really culminated in that opening scene in that game. And for it to be like 99.999% um, non-loading. You know what I mean? It's just it went from cutscene to live action, and you could just barely tell unless you were like really, really, really like looking for it. When the main character jumped off the ship and jumped on the back of the sacred, and man, and then you took off, and you got that field of Belaharas, and they're all just jumping around. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh yeah, legitimately, I think the only loading I ever remember seeing was like when you're starting from the title screen. Even that isn't really that bad because I
Yep.
didn't realize you could even press start and like skip the animation. Like I just watch it every time, but I didn't realize that you could skip it.
And
I should
then
have known that because it's just a damn title screen. But it was so like
yep.
just how it was like your characters were just sitting there and talking with the
hmm
handler and the pelican. That's pretty awesome.
It's so pretty. And then I didn't do this until like a couple of days before the demo was about to end. Um, but I found out that when you quit from the main game and go back into the loading screen, it does this awesome animation where it like zooms in on your character, and then it zooms out on your character like drinking from a cup, and then it goes into this thing where it's talking to the handler in the tent, and your main character steps out of the tent to where your sacred and the palico are overlooking the wild area, and it's just like so seamless and so like gorgeous. Like I thought like something else was happening in the game. I'm like, wait, what's going on? But then that transition was just so smooth, and I was like, man, that is freaking awesome. And it really makes me want to get a pro just to play that game. I mean, it already looks great on the PS5, um, but it really makes me want to get a pro so I can enjoy the 4K and the 60 frames a second
I would also
aspect
like
of
to
the
throw
game.
out, it really looks good as a demo. Remember, this is the demo, beta
hmm
demo that we played, so it might look better just when the actual game has its, normal full release.
Exactly. We'll see what happens when it comes out in 2 months. 2 months time. I think it's the end of February, I believe.
That sounds about right.
Was hoping for another demo, but I don't think we're going to get one. They said that if there was more info dropped in the game, they took all the feedback from everybody who played the demo, and they fixed like 95% of everything that people were bothered by or upset by. Like all that stuff got fixed. And of course, there's speedrunner community wants things to be more powerful. They want things more balanced. But we'll go into that a little bit later. But they said that if they do bring back the a beta or a demo, that is pretty much going to be the exact same one that we played, just so that they can have more people have access to the game and play the game. Which
I got you.
it's just fine, but I mean, obviously much rather have a full brand new demo. But we'll see what they do. It would be nice. Because I'm not sure if I can wait 2 months to play that game.
Okay, sir. You can wait. You just don't want to wait. There's a difference there. There's a difference. It's not like, it's like, I have to hit the self-destruct button because I can't wait 2 months. Boom.
Okay, if you don't hear from me in the next week or so, you know what happened. I self-destructed because I couldn't wait to play this damn game.
Lord.
I know one of your favorite things that they changed was the autopilot mode for the Sacred in the game.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
So, as you know from the previous games, like, I managed to get lost all the time trying to, like, find the hunt and everything else. Like, especially if I died and have to get back to it, it's like I'm struggling to get to it. Like, oh, yeah, I don't want to die before I get back. So it's like, having the Sacred have basically auto drive is, like, the best thing they could have done. Like, it is just so lovely because I can focus on, like, getting my weapons all ready and stuff while I'm just getting to the mob. And, it's just like, yeah, I can just get my attack just ready to jump off. Oh, and let's not talk about how you jump off and can mount them bad boys. And that's just amazing, the attacks you can do on the
very
back.
satisfying. I was just going through our videos because I posted like 8 or 9 different videos to our YouTube channel of us playing that game. And it was one day where Juan and I actually played together for a good long while. And I was creating the thumbnail for the video. And there's a shot that I somehow got luckily. I was like off in the distance sharpening, I think I had the sword and shield. I was sharpening that. And then I just happened to look up, and at that moment, freaking Juan was charging full speed, and all I saw was him like fly off his Secret like 40, 50 feet onto a Balahara and like mounted this damn thing. But the thumbnail I have is actually of him like mid-air flying. It is so freaking awesome.
Nice.
I was like, oh. And I was trying to, because I had played it a bit more than him at that point in time, so I was trying to give him more time to get used to playing, and I was kind of hanging back a little bit, and I was still trying to get used to that weapon I was trying out. And yeah, it was just like moments like that were just so awesome. And even though like the giant green frog monster, the Chatacabra, even though we hunted that thing like 17, 18, 20 times, every time it felt different because one, you probably had a different weapon, or you learned something new about your weapon, or the area was different, or the weather was different. It just that's the most satisfying thing about Monster Hunter. It's like it does not feel the same for every single hunt. You could fight the same monster 1,000 times, and each time it would literally feel completely different. And you have that option to make it feel that way too. And that's another reason I love this damn game. Or this franchise, I should say. Speaking of which few weapons did you like the most in this game? Or did you enjoy playing the most?
Let's see. Well, for one thing, I definitely got to give props to, like, all of the ranged weapons because, like, they were just amazing to use in this game. Like, I didn't really like them at all in the other games, but like they just feel better. The ammo is so like pretty. I mean, I still got to get a little faster using the inventory, but the ammo is so quick to just switch it in. You regenerate the ammo. It's not like you have to have that extra inventory chest for it. I can't remember which.
One of the changes that I just man. Because even I hated using like the guns, because there was some enemies in like Rise and especially World that they were just so erratic and so chaotic that you could not get close to them to use something as slow as a hammer or the hunting horn or even something as quick as the dual blades. But the dual blades, you got to be right up on them to do the moves. There's some monsters that were just so crazy that you couldn't get close to them. So I would have to switch to the bow or the long gun or whatever. The light bow gun. That's what it is. Long gun. The light bow gun. Had to switch to that, but you're shooting one bullet every 15 seconds. It felt like in World. It got a little bit faster in Rise, but not by much. But in this game, they literally are like freaking machine gun status.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and that's another. I mean, yeah. So I believe it was the short crossbow, whatever it was, long, short. Because they got 3 different ones. I think it was the one that had the short in the name.
You got the bow, the long bow gun, and then the heavy bow gun.
Yeah.
I think you enjoyed the heavy bow gun more because that one had like the legit machine gun action going on.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what. Yeah, maybe that was the one that I liked. The heavy
And
one.
then there's a special. Each long range weapon has like a special ammo or a special move, and that one had the dragon piercer, and that's the one that's just like the straight explosion in your face.
Oh yeah.
And when you did that, you literally screamed.
That thing was amazing. And that's the other thing I like about the game too. You actually have 2 weapons at the same time, where you don't have to go all the way back to the tent to change. So it gives you that option.
Yeah, when I first saw that in the rebuild trailer, man, I freaking screeched like a schoolgirl. That was, man, it's so helpful. And something else I found out recently, aside from the changes that they revealed that you don't have to have like certain things tied to different armors. Like if you wanted to have, say you were fighting an ice monster and you wanted to have like ice resistance and flame buffs on your weapon. In older games, you would have to wear like jewelry or you would have to put like jewels in your armor sets. This time, they have those types of buffs attached to the weapons. So you can have like ice resistant armor and then have like a super strong flame long blade or whatever that you want. Of course, they had that kind of stuff in other games, but it's hard to explain. It was attached to the armor set. Like if you had a complete set of armor and the weapon, that's
You
what
get an
made
added
it.
bonus.
That's what made it more effective. And yes, you got that added bonus. But in this game, you don't have to have that added bonus. You can just have the specific weapon you want, and then you can go on and do your thing.
Hmm.
And I'm super duper grateful for that because I'll get into my favorite weapons in a minute, but you can continue. Go ahead.
Okay, but so I guess we were back to the weapons thing. So besides the I guess the heavy longbow, I liked hold on, I think the switchblade was all. Actually, there was so many of them that are similar. I can't remember exactly which one. I know I liked the twin blades. I liked,
The dual
and I
blades.
think I liked the switchblade, which was like, wait, was that? It was like a hammer. There was also a sword. I think. I can't think. There was a lot of weapons.
Okay, so the one you're talking about is the switch axe. That's what you're talking about.
Switch X, right?
Yeah, the switch axe is pretty awesome. It turns from a sword into an axe, and it has in this game, it has like a chainsaw kind of effect. If you hop on the back and you do a focus strike, you'll you like swing it up in the air. It'll turn into an axe, and then you bring it down around town, and then it'll like start to spin like a freaking chainsaw, and then you just basically like slice it through the damn monster's neck or the damn monster's body, and that was just completely satisfying. So satisfying. Like those focus moves, they had those kind of like there's certain weapons that had them in the other games. Rise had them in the form of those. I forgot what those thread moves were called. But if you hold
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. Bug wires. wire bugs?
Wire bugs,
Wire
wire
sponge?
bug, wire sponge. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's X3. Still,
If you use the wire bug moves, you get a special move like that. But in this game, it's attached to the focus strikes, and that's something else too. That's just blew my mind. This game, like in other games, they did have damage models, but they weren't as extensive as this, obviously because it's a PS5 game. But also too, like one of my favorite weapons turned out to be the bow, and I never really liked the bow in the other games because it was slow and really wasn't that strong. And even though they did turn out to nerf it after the demo, because they said that the bow turned out to be the strongest weapon in the demo, so they had to nerf it. Otherwise, people would be killing monsters in like 2 seconds. I had played it so much that I got to the point where I was taking down Chatacabra in like a minute and a half. Because if you attack them for a while and you get those focus spots worked down, and then you turn on the focus mode, you can see like several red spots on the monster's body, and then you turn on focus mode, and it literally like auto attacks. It auto locks on to those spots, and then you aim your bow up, and then you'll shoot homing arrows into all those spots at one time, and you're doing like 700, 800, 900, 1,000 damage in like one shot. It's freaking crazy. The only other weapons that are doing damage like that are the hammer and the greatsword, because those like were built for that. But for the bow to do that damage, yeah, that was a little crazy. I freaking fought the main monster, Ray Dow, the one that's electric. I fought him before the demo ended, and I took him down with the bow gun in like 5 minutes. And I never fought him before, but it was so easy with the bow gun.
the bow gun or the bow and arrow?
I mean the bow and arrow. Sorry, the bow. Yeah, it was just so easy with the bow. Like I had to stand back and just let loose. Just let loose.
Yeah, I will. I don't want them to nerf it, but I will say it did feel like all of those guns and bows were all like pretty overpowered. Like it made no sense. Like it's like you just sit back and shoot these things and they're going down. Like that did not work in the other games at all.
Nope, not at all. And they definitely speaking of changes, that's one thing that they changed too. They changed the amount of health that the monsters had in accordance to the hunters and how many you have and stuff like that.
It scales, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Something else they changed is the fact that the freaking monsters like ran away, like the Balahara and the Chatacabra. They ran away every like freaking 2.5 minutes. Or there was a few times when we would like get to a new area, then they would leave immediately. Like that always bugged me in Monster Hunter games. That was always irritating. I mean, it gave you time to sharpen your weapons and reload and stuff like that, but I think that in World, they probably had the best balance of that. Like, you would be able to fight the monster for at least a good 5 to 10 minutes before it ran away, you know? And I think it really should be based on a hit point threshold. Like, when they hit a certain amount of hit points, that's when they should run away. Or if there is like a turf war, like if another monster comes by and fights them and wins, and then I can see that triggering them to run away because they lost the fight, they lost the turf war, so that makes sense. And that's that's something else too that they fixed and adjusted. In the other games, the turf war was always predetermined. So if a bigger monster came along, the bigger monster would always win. It makes sense. But in this game, it's not like that. Because the endemic life in this game is ongoing and like living in the world. If a Chatacabra came from a different area but had previously gotten to a fight and his hit points were low, and he came over to this new area and fought a smaller monster, there's a chance he could lose because his hit points are lower. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like that in the other game. Like they wouldn't. It was like more scripted in the other game. So if two monsters showed up in a particular area, they would be triggered to fight each other, but just one time. Like in wilds, they can fight multiple monsters in multiple different areas because there are so many different areas, and the areas are so freaking huge. And that's one thing I'm really excited about too, because when you're out there and you don't have to go back to the camp after each freaking battle, each fight, like you can take down 3, 4, 5 monsters, get all that swag, and then head to like a camp or even just a camp and get some things done. Like that's just it seems like they really thought of everything in this game to
But
make it more user friendly, more approachable to newer gamers, and then even just more playable, replayable for the vets of the series.
but I was gonna say, just going on to what you're saying. That being said, even if you do have to go to like the actual like camp, the camp is like in the area. It's not like a whole separate hub world anymore, which is like a great thing.
Exactly, exactly. And I can't wait to see the other camps because each area is going to have its own
Yeah,
base of operations. It's going to have its own different type of people that live there. It's not going to be the same people traveling from camp to camp to camp. Um,
yeah.
I think that the Smithy, the blonde chick, I think she does go from camp to camp, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Um, so we'll definitely see how that goes, and I'm curious to see how they do the actual like blacksmithing in this game and us creating um, like weapons and armor and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit different. I know that they made it more user friendly where you can actually see like the whole. No, that's not what that is. That's actually when you're equipping. Never mind. Because in the older games, when you try to equip armor and stuff, you have to go down that long list and see each piece. But in this game, they have it by monster. So each armor set is done by monster, and you can actually see the entire set laid out for you in icons instead of going down an actual list. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
that was kind of a pain in the butt in older games when like if I wanted the headpiece of the Chupacabra and I wanted the leg gear or the feet gear from the Balahara, I would have to go down and find where it is. But in this game, it's clear as day and it's all laid out, um, and that's exciting because it just makes it more streamlined.
Hmm.
It's a lot more streamlined. Um, Another one of my favorite weapons was, and I just became a huge fan, is the hammer. And I fell in love with the hammer at the end of Rise, but this game just like literally solidified my love for the hammer. Oh my god.
Hammer was pretty good when I tried it out too. Like,
Mm.
okay, that was another one of my things because I like I like them big dick number damages, like that big dick damage. That's what it is. I love big dick damage. That's what we call it in gaming. So don't take it any other way. But I love big dick damage. And the hammer, yes, it had like big dick numbers, but in the other games when I tried to use it, I had that same issue with it being slow and hard to control.
Mhm.
You start doing your little spinny move, then you're like for the next 45 seconds,
Mhm.
you can't do anything but that attack, and then it's like if you miss, then good lord, help us all.
Yes, they definitely adjusted that with not locking into animations like in the older games. Because if you started something for the next 5, 6 seconds, you're locked in the animation, and you better know how your freaking monster moved and behaved. Because if you didn't, you are screwed. And
Exactly.
that's how a lot of people did hit those BDNs. That's what I'm
Hmm.
gonna call them now, those BDNs, because they knew like the attacks of the monsters. They knew how long the animation was gonna take. So like with the great sword, in order to hit that huge strike to like one do a knockback, two knock down like triple damage, you had to know what those iframes were, and when the monster was gonna actually lunge at you, and that's how they got those big hits in. But in this game, you can cancel the animation. Um, and because there's been people with like the long sword, like there's shoot, I think it's called the demon strike, where you like bounce, you jump off the monster's head and you literally jump into the air and then come down with like a slash, you can cancel that in this game. In the other games, you couldn't cancel it, okay? And it costs a meter. So if you missed it in the other games, you just lost that meter, and it took time to build up. But in this game, if you see that the monster is about to run away or about to move, you can cancel mid-air and then just land on your feet and keep running. You keep the gauge and you keep the move.
And that's another thing I like about it because okay, so look, I played a lot of games like Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Spider-Man and stuff like that. Where the combat, you have to do a lot of dodging. So like you be in the middle of an attack in those kind of games. You just you see the attack come, you hit that circle, you get that perfect dodge or whatever in the counter, and then it's great. But like in Monster Hunter, I always tried to do that in those other games. It's like, nope, no sir, I don't know what you think you're doing. You're about to get hit in the back of the head.
That's right. You would get knocked way far off screen. I got knocked back way too far.
Yeah, but now you can do that. Now you can do that in this game, which is probably the reason that I love the game so much already, because I actually feel like I know how to fight rather than.
And it just takes I mean, even with that, it is great. But even with that, it just takes a little bit of practice to get the timing down. And like I said before, when we first started playing the game, once you fight a monster enough times, you get to learn its habits and what it does. And it's so satisfying to know when a monster is going to freaking throw a right hook or a fireball, or even in some cases a freaking burp or fart.
Yeah, like Rathalos in Final Fantasy 14, I could read him like a damn glove.
And it's the exact same thing. Exact same thing. It's a beautiful thing. Another weapon that I fell in love with that I never thought I would, and it's one of the last days the game was available. I did a few videos on weapons that I haven't tried yet, and the gun lance is a weapon that I would never ever think I would like. I think it was actually the gun lance was the very first weapon, I believe, or second weapon that I ever used in Monster Hunter ever, because I thought it looked awesome, but it was too slow, so I never picked it back up. In this game, I was curious just to see what all the weapons felt like, and I didn't think that this was going to be anything special, but oh my god. Stabby, explosion is is how I describe that damn weapon. Dude, okay, so the gun lance, it has a shield, right? And it has like cartridges that you can load into the gun, and then you can use to charge up as you attack the monster. And you can do like explosion slices, you can do explosion stabs, you can do explosion penetrations, giggity. And I did a focus move, and I was curious as to what it was going to be. I jumped on the back of this monster's neck. I stabbed the freaking gun lance into his neck, and it charged up, and you felt it in the controller. It was like choo, 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 choo. Boom! And then all you saw was this huge explosion, and your character was like blown off the back of the neck of this monster, and this monster was like thrown like 30, 40 feet. I was like, oh my god, that was so satisfying. And then I was fighting a Balahara with it one time as well, and the Balahara like dove at me like from underground, like it does, and I put my shield up, and it completely blocked the entire move. Like there was no knockback, there was no pushback, there was no damage taken. I'm like, man, I like that a lot, because all the other weapons just kind of leaves you wide open. The sword and shield is great in that game because it's quick, but with that shield you do get knockback.
Yeah, because the one-handed shield.
It is, and it's tiny, but you still can block the damage. But with this shield, man, there's like nothing. I'm like, wow, I really like that. Also too, there's something called stop hits that they have brought back, and I guess it was in World. I guess I never really paid attention to it, but it just, when you say you have the long sword or the great sword, and you hit the enemy, the sword actually, or the weapon actually stops as it hits the enemy to basically reflect the act of hitting flesh or hitting skin, and then it goes through. You know what I mean? So instead of you just swinging and you're just going through air and numbers just popping off, it actually gives that that appearance of hitting the actual enemy. So they've added that back in. So that's going to be crazy satisfying, especially with the hammer. Oh my god! Like I've done like those crazy knockback hits with the hammer, like that golf upswing, and that's satisfying because when you connect that properly, the monster just flies back. But with these stop hits, yeah, that's gonna make just it's so satisfying to just wail on these things, especially when they piss you off.
Especially.
Especially when they piss you off. The game is so good. Crap, we are almost out of time. Any final thoughts for the upcoming release of Monster Hunter Wilds?
Bring back the cute elf-eared girls from Rise. That's all I can say. Give us them. They were like super. Yeah.
You're so funny. You're funny. Yeah, that's probably what happened. But I mean, they're definitely gonna have other ones in here, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Okay, then bring back even cuter versions. Like that was like the best thing about Rise.
We know how you played the game at 2:00 in the morning with one hand. Eric was like, "I do love the title screen."
I won't lie. I probably had that game idle on the title screen more than like any other game I've played this year.
It's gonna reflect on your PlayStation Rewind.
It might. Yeah, it's probably gonna be up there.
Eric Jones, you played Monster Hunter Rise for 343 hours. Like, there.
It might not be that long, but it'll be yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious. I just thought about something. I would like to kick off the first episode. Our it's not going to be called the Game of the Year episode. It's going to be called our top experiences of 2024. That's what it's going to be called. But I would just actually like to kick off the episode with a quick recap of our PlayStation Rewind. If everybody's cool with that.
Sure. Because I actually have more than 2 games on it this year, sure.
Good.
Probably.
I can't wait to hear. I'm very curious about that. I'm actually going to do mine tonight, but then I'll post it after our first episode of the year, which I plan on doing next week, next Sunday.
That's 7 days from now, y'all. You hear that? It will be next Sunday, unless some life happens.
Unless life happens, which it definitely will with what's going on now. My final thoughts is that I want to get my hands on it. Like, I'm all in. I knew I was going to be all in when they announced it. The more we got of this game, and the fact that Capcom just went all in, it just fixed everything that the fans wanted. It goes beyond the Call of Duty and what a company should do, because the companies would like they'll fix little things here and there, or they'll fix the things that they think is wrong with the game, which is fine. But when they listen to the community and they go in and they fix everything, man, that just makes me happy. That makes me really happy. And again, I might be getting a PS5 Pro to play this game. I just might.
He's a mind changer. We'll see what happens, y'all. I'll keep you posted.
I mean, if I could trade mine in and get a couple $100 off and get a...
Yeah, this is GameStop we're talking about. You can have $50 in in-game credits, and then 5 seconds later somebody else comes in. You have a PS5 to sell? Oh, yeah, sure. Give me just...
$650.
Yeah, pretty much. Sir, I need you to leave out now. No, I think the regular one's like $500, so it's like $450. So they're gonna basically sell yours. They're gonna give you the amount that would be the difference between buying it new and used. They're gonna give you that in store credit. Then they're gonna resell that thing.
Yep. Exactly. That's fine. I'm gonna get my hands on the Pro. I'll be good.
I would sooner keep my original PS5 and still get the Pro. I just can't resell stuff to like places like GameStop. I might sell it to a person or something like that, but not GameStop. Nope, I refuse to. I think I sold one game to GameStop, and I was so mad. I think it was like I ended up getting 2 copies of Chrono Trigger, so I might have sold the second one. Yeah, don't ask how I got 2 copies of Chrono Trigger. My friends used to sell me like all their damn games.
Well, back in the day when I was working for Walmart and I was a broke college boy, I didn't have a choice but to trade my games in order to get a new one. I remember one time, oh my God, I traded in, this is a completely different episode. I remember one time I traded in a bag, it was like a duffel bag of PlayStation 2 games in order to get one game. And I think I got like $30 for that whole bag of games. And it
Dude,
wasn't
you
even,
should have came to me. You
and
should
it
have came
wasn't
to
even
me.
worth it. It wasn't
You
even worth it. Dude, I was
have
in
came to
Connecticut.
me.
I was in
Oh,
Connecticut at the time. I was in college. I was in Connecticut. I wasn't nowhere near you, and I definitely couldn't afford to send you anything. So, and of course, there was no Venmo or Cash App at that point in time. I think cell phones had just started to no, smartphones just started to come out. They just started to come out. So, yeah. Anyway,
damn.
enough tangent.
What game did you get that wasn't good? I'm just curious. What game did you trade all that stuff
That
in
was
for?
so long ago, I do not remember, to be honest. But all I remember was me being pissed off because it wasn't worth it.
Damn.
It was not worth playing, not
It's
even a
probably
little bit.
it's probably the original SmackDown 3 on PlayStation 2. That game was terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you know what? Honestly, it might have been SmackDown versus Raw 2008. And we've all heard that horror story. That
Ugh.
was terrible. Good Lord, I got that for the Wii. Oh, Jesus, that was bad. Anyway, before I get mad about that, we are looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds, and we will definitely be playing a crap ton of it. And as soon as it drops, we'll definitely do a live episode, a live stream of it, because it's been a while since we've done that. But we'll do that, and that'll be a fun time. But until next time, gamers, keep on
Leveling up.